but at home he's gentle and kind and listening and taking some of the heat from his wife too.
But also there is a hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if my memory helps me, he was talking to the women, also the role of the women. It says in Arabic, أطعنا أزواجكم يطعن لكم. In English it means, try to obey your husbands. They will obey you in everything you ask them for. It's like putty, you know. So the idea is, a husband or a wife, each has to give in to their husband, to their spouses, in certain or heated discussions sometimes. That makes the other person say, I don't have any reason or ground to be angry at you, so you followed what I'm saying.
You know, it reminds me, once we realize we're going that road of argument, and we're human and we argue, we should stop. I remember I seen a friend of mine, when he felt this, he tells his wife, let's stop and let's start again. You know, rather than go down that road of pride and argument. We've run out of time. We'll have to go for a break, but please stand by. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. We are talking today about how to maintain a happy marriage, and my best advice to any couple is spend time together. You find a lot of people, especially a man says, I work too hard, I put 16, 18 hours a day to keep my family happy, and the family doesn't have the time. It is very important to spend time, sacrifice a little bit of the money situation, because you find the couple are focused so much on money, and rather than realizing they need to spend time together, they need to know each other and have a happy time together. Brother Saeed.
Well, talking about this is very entertaining, very enjoyable, and every second that I'm sitting here, I'm really enjoying. But let us go and see if we can also tap another point, and that is giving each other a gift.
Yes.
And you go out, you come back from work, or you stop by the shop, you pick up a gift for your wife.
Yes.
And this is what the Prophet ﷺ, what did he say? Tahadu, tahabu.
Yes.
And this is for the strangers, for the neighbors, for relatives. Imagine your wife.
Yes.
But the key is here that you should know what your wife likes.
Right.
You have to understand the psychology of your wife. What is she like? If you go out and you buy a jilbab or a dress that is $150, she may be very impressed. But if you know she likes chocolate, which is only 79 cents, and that may her more than happier than buying her expensive gift. So I would think this would be an excellent, I think to start with, especially since this would nourish the love between the spouse.
A no occasion gift. And I was reading an article the other day in a magazine that said, never buy your wife something that plugs in. It has to have sentimental value. Sometimes we think we give her something that's good for the house, but this is a no-no. You get something. And a lot of men, as you mentioned earlier, don't appreciate giving flowers. It's so important. It's something for her that she likes, rather than something she could use around the house.
Absolutely. And that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Especially, sorry to interrupt, because I want to press on that point about hadaya or gifting. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, especially if you are traveling away from home for a while, when you come back, you have to bring something with you, even just a rock, even al-hasa, even something as a memory to give it to the wife. So
and that to the children too.
That includes the children. So the idea is, do not walk in home empty-handed if you are traveling out. At least to get them to know that you are the person who takes care of everything.
And you're thinking about them.
Yes.
Right. I think that the thought is more than the actual gift. Also, another thing that especially men neglect is atazayyun, to look good for your wife. We always expect them to look good and attractive and smelling nice. But when it comes to men, we assume that they have no rights to that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ. They have exactly equal right. So if you expecting your wife to look beautiful for you, you should at least try to look your best for your wife.
And
to
clean
smell
and
nice.
shaved and, you know.
As long as it's not against the Sharia, everything that will allow you to look good and to look nice, it is acceptable. But of course, beauty is in the eyes of Allah and Messenger subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, we don't want to compromise part of our religion, but this is important. The way you look is important. And a man came to Abdullah ibn Abbas. Now, at this particular time, Abdullah ibn Abbas, it is the greatest scholar ever lived at his time. And then he saw sitting in front of the mirror, fixing himself, and the student said, Ya ibn Abbas, O son of Abbas, we travel distance to learn from you. Are you sitting here beautifying yourself like a woman? He said, no, that is in the book of Allah. So this is one thing that men, a lot of men, they neglect. They have to look, they always only expect the women to look good, but not the men.
It reminds me of a story about Umar ibn Khattab. A lady came to him and said, I want to divorce my husband. And Umar, you know, has to listen to the other side, so he sends to the husband, and the husband is grumpy and dirty and whatnot. So he tells one of his aides, go and shower him, ask him to shower and clean up and give him clean clothes and, you know, take care of him. So the man comes, and the woman didn't recognize her husband anymore. And Umar says, go home with him. She said, yeah, Amir al-Mu'mineen, it's not my husband. How could I go home with him? Huh? And then he told her, look at him again. And then she realized it's her husband, and she walks away home smiling with this man. Yeah, it's a very important issue. It's a two-way street.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially, look at the sunnah of Rasulullah. When Aisha was asked, what was the first thing that he would do when he walks in? She said he would use miswak, which means he would be close to his wife, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And look at the ayah, the surah al-Tahrim. What was the purpose of Allah revealing that surah? Because the women, the wife, she said to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you ate honey and you smell a little bit funny. So he said, since I smell, I will never eat honey. And then Allah said, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu lima tuharrima ahadallahu lak. So this is a very important. The other point that I would think would be very important for husbands especially, and also for the wife, is to praise one another. To praise the wife for what she did. The compliments that what she did for the kids, how she took care of herself, how she took care of the, you know, every little thing. Women are more sensitive than men. Women,
more emotional.
And women, they like to be recognized for everything that they do. And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should appreciate, because we somehow deprived from that. You know, we for hardship, for difficult time. But women is the thing that makes things beauty. So here, when she does something, you should exaggerate. You should magnify. You should say, how beautiful. And she did.
It has to come from the heart.
It's true. I'm not saying lip service. I'm not saying empty compliments, but you know, you have to dramatize. I don't know if you have, even if someone comes to you and he says, you're doing wonderful job, Ashraf. You're doing this. You know, you feel a little bit.
Yeah, it makes us feel good.
We're human. And women are more emotional, more susceptible to that. So I think that it would one of the very powerful thing that would encourage to keep the marriage alive.
And then, as we know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was at home, he would help with the chores at home.
Absolutely.
You know, so helping with the chores, playing with kids, it's very important. Like, you know, we know the story where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went down for sujood, and then his grandchild came and sat on his back, and he stayed at sujood for a while. That the Muslims, after he finished, he said, we were worried about you, Ya Rasulullah. So he said, my grandson sat on my shoulder, I didn't want to disrupt him. So playing with the kids is very important when you're home, rather than just watching TV or watching the news, or it's that family time.
It comes back to that quality time. It comes back to that quality time. I think also from that angle, if you take the time to spend time with the family outside the house. Change the environment. Spice it up. Take them to the park. Take them to the recreation center. If you're in Toronto, take the kids to Woodwoodchuck, for example. You know, kids will love. They will lose themselves there. Do something that the whole family enjoys.
Yes.
And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, exact example. In the middle, when after Salat al-Isha or between Maghrib and Isha, he would take his wife and he would walk with them. Take them for a walk together. We go out for a walk. Take them for lunch. Invite them for dinner.
Yes.
You know, all this as a family, it would again spice of your life, your marriage life, and it would be something enjoyable. And if you to travel with the family, I heard that you just came back from a trip with the family.
Right.
This is a wonderful thing. This is what is needed.
Yes.
You know, take the family for this busy life, go for camping, go for a trip, go and spend that time with them.
Yes.
But a different environment. Not the same four walls that you will always be together.